Module 8. Clientele and Audiences in Social Work. It is one of the most beautiful compensations of this life that you cannot sincerely try to help another without helping yourself. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Well-functioning society. Welfare. Well-being. Social work is mandated to promote the welfare and well-being of a society. More specifically, social workers, according to Jai Bellman, empower people to develop and to optimize their potential to solve and cope with problems. Make available to people the resources and services in an effective and human manner. Link people with systems that provide them with resources, services and opportunities. Contribute to the development and improvement of social policy. Big idea. The client is the best person to affirm the purpose of a profession. Contextualizing the social work practice. Since social work is considered to be the only profession that has the responsibility and mandate to provide social services, practitioners should be rigorously trained and must acquire the expertise needed to provide the necessary services to their clients. The attributes the social work. Well-organized application of the knowledge and skill used to address various issues directly or indirectly affecting the welfare and well-being of people. Practiced in different levels and contexts through organized network of professional social workers. Observance of ethical norms established by the profession and the sanction of society. Carried out in cooperation with other helping disciplines and organizations. Social worker is linked to a general practitioner as he or she is expected to possess a wide range of skills so as intervene effectively in the common personal and emotional problems of client, and the common social problems faced by groups, organizations, and the larger community. Also need to evaluate themselves through SWOT analysis to better gauge their ability and limitations in addressing their clients' problems. Social workers practice their profession through their clientele and audience. Children. Community. Family services. Corrections. Group services. Medical clinics. Mental health. Public assistance. School social work. Aged. Substance abusers. Mental developmental disabilities. Other disabilities. Occupation social work. Big idea. Social work is often underrated despite its great impact to people's lives. Part of the challenge of the social worker's profession is the many roles that have to be played. Clientele and audience of social work. Clientele versus applicant. Client is someone who makes an explicit agreement with a social worker about the purpose of their work together. Applicant are not entering into any agreement with the social worker to solve their issue. More often than not, social workers encounter participants or resistors. Goals of the client and the social worker. Client's goal. Obtain help with problems. Preserve self-respect. Limit invasions of privacy. Satisfy needs for dependence and nurturance. Seek assurance that nothing is wrong. While the social worker's goal. Established and maintain an area of expertise. Use expertise. Make money. Demonstrate competence. Serve others. Big idea. When a client musters the courage to seek help from a social worker, he or she forms expectations of the possible result of their meeting, session, or transaction. Models of a social worker's perspective toward a client. Model and assumption. Moral model. A person is responsible for both his or her problems and its solution. Medical or disease model. The client is assumed to be responsible for neither the problem nor its solution. Compensatory model. The client is viewed as being responsible for the solution but not the problem. Enlightenment model. A person is responsible for the problem but not its solution. Addressing the needs of individuals, groups, organizations, and communities. Social work with individuals. Social work with families. Social work with groups. 1. Social conversation groups. These are groups formed by people who have similar experiences and who would like to share these experiences to each other for introspection and for assistance. 2. Recreational groups. Members of these groups participate in activities for enjoyment and exercise. 3. Recreation skill groups. These are task-oriented groups led by advisor, coach, or instructor so that members can develop certain set of skills, while at the same time enjoying recreation activities. NBSP 4. Education groups. Almost similar to recreation skill, education groups also require the development of knowledge and more complex skills, but these groups resemble a class, with considerable group interaction where discussions are encouraged. 5. Task groups. These are instructional rather than recreational groups that are assigned with a specific set of tasks or objectives. 6. Problem-solving and decision-making groups. These groups are given scenarios similar to their own, which they need to process and come up with various solutions. 7. Self-help groups. These are groups composed of volunteer members within the same socio-economic backgrounds, who come together to solve common problems through self-help and mutual help. 8. Socialization groups. These groups are meant to make members' attitudes and behaviors more socially acceptable through social skills development, increase of self-confidence, and improvement of planning abilities. 9. Therapy groups. Member of these groups provide counsel for those with severe emotional or personal problems. 10. Sensitivity groups. The main goal of these groups is to improve interpersonal awareness by making people relate to one another in an intimate manner and self-disclosure through group experiences. Social work with organizations. Social work with the community. Furthermore, Zastra suggested that the most basic skill needed in community practice is the ability to work effectively with people. Community practice primarily involves working with individuals and with groups. Every practicing social worker occasionally becomes involved in community practice projects. Seeing a community project developed, approved, and implemented is immensely gratifying, and community practice efforts are often fun. Big idea. What is good for an individual is also good for his or her family, group, organization, or community. Affecting the life of one affects the life of many. Community practice, also known as social planning, community planning, locality development, community action, social action, macro practice, community organization, or community development. The process of stimulating and assisting the local community to evaluate, plan, and coordinate its efforts to provide for the community's health, welfare, and recreation needs. Thank you for watching this video. I hope all of you learn more about this topic. Once again, thank you and have a good day. Goodbye.